They're right.
The Mazda CX9 is a stylish and peppy SUV in a class that's become almost, well, déclassé. The CX9 is a 7-passenger crossover that has tracks for the back seat. In other words, this car allows you to adjust legroom for all 3 rows. Pretty cool. Speaking of cool, Mazda's popular Zoom Zoom campaign has been amended to Zoom Zoom Forever.
Well, let's put it this way. Everything that we do on all of our vehicle lines, it has a little bit of Zoom Zoom or a little bit of sports car in everything we do.
Jim O'Sullivan is the president and CEO of Mazda.
Zoom Zoom is about performance, but it's not the 0 to 60 performance, Grant. It's all about great driving dynamics in a total package. Leadership within design, leadership within drive dynamics, and leadership within value. Whether it's going into a CX9, which on a crossover is really great, it differentiates us from the other brands, all the way to MX-5 Miata.
Mazda is even trying to squeeze every last ounce of Zoom Zoom into their new anti-Yaris weapon, the Mazda 2.
Great packaging, great fuel efficiency, and it's Zoom Zoom, but we like calling it Zoom Zoom Concentrate.
Jim is so sure of his products that he's letting people have access to the internet at all the new dealerships. Those kiosks let consumers go online and compare the Mazda they're looking at with any other car. The salesperson will even help you. Jim's confident that you'll still buy the Mazda. The head of Mazda also says he's focusing his marketing money online and with social media sites.
We need to go where our customers are going. Between Twitter and Facebook and all that stuff, that's where we're headed. And I think you're going to end up seeing within the industry itself more money reallocated from like national TV and cable buys and print, much more towards social media because that's where our customers are going.
Real World Test Drive told Jim O'Sullivan we thought it was a pretty bold move to give consumers online access in the showroom to compare their vehicles to the competition. He said, quote, "They're doing it anyway," and he pulled out his iPhone. Good point. Speaking of good points and bad points, my only gripes are there was a bit of wind noise at highway speeds, but if you're like most people and you're listening to the radio or jabbering away on your Bluetooth, you won't really notice it. Also, the Mazda seem to really love phone chargers. I mean, so much that they refuse to give them back. Mazda tells Real World Test Drive, quote, "We've recently learned that the 12-volt power sockets used for charging cell phones, etc. in certain Mazda vehicles have a slight design defect that may cause certain power cords, specifically those for Verizon phones, to be stuck in the socket. Mazda has identified the source of the problem and is working to repair and replace the sockets as necessary." I like the fact that there's a knob that turns the radio up and down and off on this car. I'm not having to look down and find some touchscreen button or anything else. I can drive and reach over and know, oh, gee, the radio button's here. You know, even though the visibility on the CX9 was really good, the blind spot detection system is great on this Mazda. It's something that probably will be standard on most cars soon.
Mazda CX-9 is a crossover vehicle, 7-passenger, but it's a crossover vehicle that has Zoom Zoom. And I think after you drive the vehicle for a while, it is differentiated from our competitive set. We will not go into a segment or launch a vehicle unless it has Zoom Zoom in it. If it doesn't do Zoom Zoom, we will not introduce it. It's one of the reasons why we never did a full-size truck. It's pretty difficult in a full-size truck or a big SUV to really do something Zoom Zoom. So we stay close to who we are.
The Mazda CX-9 with all-wheel drive gets 15 in the city and 21 on the highway. The 273 horsepower engine will take you from 0 to 60 in 8.5 seconds. The CX-9 starts at about $29,000 and was around $39,000 as tested.
Anything I didn't ask you think people should know about Mazda? Now's your chance.
Zoom Zoom.
I'm Grant Winter reporting.